Now let's add our character into the sequencer. So before we start, let's just increase the size of this window. And now if you click on the mannequin, we can click on track, add to sequencer, and if you remember, at the top will be the currently selected object. So let's click on that. And now as you can see, we have the mannequin in our sequencer. So you can look at sequencer, something like a video editor where you have tracks and then you have your timeline. So if you look here and just scroll, this is our timeline and basically what happens with the tracks over time, and you have here the list of tracks. So that's kind of how you can look at sequencer. Now that we have our SK mannequin, we can click on plus on the animation. Now we can search for all the available animations. So let's check out idle, and we want idle pistol, and we can drag it to the beginning. And now as you can see, the animation is played. So we can actually go into cinematic viewport, and here we can look a bit better. Let's also decrease this so you can see the options. Oops, okay, let's move that away. We can also just dock the sequencer here, maybe this will be easier. And if you look here, when we are in the cinematic viewport, we have a bit of different controls here. So you can click here to go to the beginning, and play, reverse, and so on. So now we can see that our animation is playing. And what we're going to do is increase the length of this sequence. Let's say we want 500. Now that we increased it, we can see that we can just drag everything to to our to the end of this sequence, basically. Next, we can click on this, so we can pull this all the way to the end, and then click this button, and this means set where the sequence will end. And we can also do with the beginning, but beginning is in a good place, but this button also sets the beginning. And now that we have that selected, we can just click and pull or camera cuts, which we are going to cover later. We can pull it to the end, and what we can also do is just pull the animation to the end. And something that you'll see happen is that our animation right now, if you see this line, after that you will start repeating again. So animations have sets of length basically, and after the length ends, it will just start repeating if you stretch the animation. So that's what we did. We pulled the animation, and now we have this line that tells us this is the end of animation, and after this point, the animation will start playing from the beginning again. And animation now loops, basically. So this is the basics of the sequencer, how you can import objects. And keep in mind that animations here don't won't translate right into the sequencer, so you have to click add the character and then again add the animation. And if you click on track, you can see here that if you don't have some tracks, you can also add them. So if you remember, we talked about objects and then having sub properties, and those properties can also have some other properties and so on. Uh, so yeah, this is the basics of how to import your character. And in the next tutorial, we're going to cover some more properties in more detail.